I'm Kelsey, 72. 6 months ago, I sat on the terrace of my villa overlooking Lake Como, sipping the perfect espresso prepared by my housekeeper, Lucia. The morning sun painted the Italian mountains in hues of gold and rose, a sight that once seemed like a distant dream. But now, it's my reality, a far cry from the humiliation I endured back in the States. It all started at the grocery store. I was with my son, Ethan, his wife, Victoria, and my grandson, Max. Victoria, a cold and calculating woman from a wealthy but pretentious family, always treated me like an inconvenience. That day, she was dressed to the nines, her designer clothes and expensive jewelry a stark contrast to my simple attire. Max, a 13-year-old, was caught in the middle, often mimicking his parents' behavior. When we reached the checkout, the young cashier, a kind, hearted lad in his early 20s, greeted me with a warm smile. "Good morning, ma'am. How are you today?" Before I could reply, Victoria stepped in, her voice sharp as a blade. "This old woman is the maid. Don't talk to her." The words hit me like a sledgehammer. Ethan, the son I'd raised with love and sacrifice, burst into laughter, and Max joined in. I stood there, frozen, my hands gripping my purse so tightly my knuckles turned white. The cashier's face fell, and he started treating me like I was invisible. The drive home was torture. They chatted about their weekend plans, a spa day for Victoria and a golf outing for Ethan, as if I wasn't even there. No one mentioned the ice cream Max had promised me, and no one asked if I was okay. When I got home, I carried the groceries into the kitchen. As I put them away, I started to question my life. I'd once been a successful businesswoman, running a small but thriving flower shop. But after Victoria moved in, she convinced Ethan that it was inappropriate for me to work at my age. One by one, she found reasons to shut down my business, and I became alive in housekeeper. That night, in the darkness of my small bedroom, I remembered something I'd almost forgotten. I walked to my closet and moved aside the old coats. Behind them was a small safe. My hands trembled as I entered the combination, the date my husband had passed away. Inside were bank statements, investment records, and property deeds. Over the years, I'd made careful investments with the money I'd saved from my flower shop and small inheritances. I owned several rental properties downtown and had a 35% stake in the very grocery store where I'd been humiliated. I'd kept it all a secret because I knew Victoria and Ethan would try to control my money. The next morning, I decided it was time to take back my power. I walked to the grocery store and met with the owner, Mr. Thompson, an old friend. He was thrilled when I told him I wanted to take a more active role in the business. He also recommended an attorney, Ms. Reed, a sharp, witted woman in her 55s. At Ms. Reed's office, I explained my situation. I told her I wanted to remove Ethan from my will and set up a trust for Max that he could access when he turned 25, on the condition that he treated me with respect. I also wanted to increase my charitable giving. 2 weeks later, the legal papers were ready. One morning, there was a knock at the door. Ms. Reed and Mr. Thompson's son, an attorney handling the business transfer, were at the door. When Ethan and Victoria saw them, they were confused. I sat them down and told them the truth. I reminded them of the humiliation at the grocery store and how I'd overheard Victoria discussing my death with her friends, waiting for my inheritance. I opened the envelope and showed them the new will. Ethan's face turned pale, and Victoria's eyes widened in shock. I then revealed my business interests. I owned a significant part of the grocery store, several rental properties, and had a substantial investment portfolio. The total value was around $45 million. I also informed them that I'd purchased the house from them, and they had 30 days to find a new place to live. Their faces showed complete devastation. Ethan pleaded with me to work things out, but I knew it was too late. After that, I left for a hotel downtown. With the help of Ms. Reed, I liquidated some properties, sold the grocery store to the employees, and structured my finances for international living. I chose Italy because I'd always dreamed of it. Now, here I am, living the life I've always deserved. Max calls me every week. At first, he was angry and confused, but as time passed, he started to understand. He recently told me he was sorry for laughing at me in the store. I believe there's hope for our relationship. Ethan has tried to call me multiple times, but I've refused to answer. Victoria sent me a letter full of threats and pleas, but I burned it. Some bridges are better left burned. As the sun sets over Lake Como, I raise my glass of wine in a toast to myself, to second chances, and to the courage to take back my life. I'm 72, and my real life has just begun. What would you do if you were in my place? Have you ever been through something similar?
Comment Bilo?